I'm going to do something at the end of this sermon where I'm going to lead you in a guided meditation. I'm giving you a heads up because it makes some people antsy when I do that. So if you feel antsy, you can just read the bulletin quietly or whatever, but I will invite you to do a guided meditation with me. This is known as Good Shepherd Sunday, and oddly, the people who create the little snippets of readings for us left out verse 11 of John 10, in which Jesus says, after he says, I am the gate, he says, I am the good shepherd. I don't know why they left that out for today, but they did. And of course, he gets that metaphor from the more ancient text. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. God has frequently been called a shepherd. Jesus frequently calls himself a shepherd. He is also known as the gate, the gatekeeper, the sheep himself, the Paschal Lamb. And when people hear that reading you just heard from John, they get very confused. This is what they do. They go, I don't get it. He's called the shepherd, but he's also the gate. And because he says he's the gate, he doesn't say he's the shepherd, but we do, so that must be true too. And then there's also a gatekeeper in the story. So is the gatekeeper God? But in our theology, God and Jesus are actually not separate. So then Jesus is, let's get this straight now, he is the sheep, the shepherd, the gate, and the gatekeeper. And people get confused. They go, wait, what maps to what in this story? This is a very human need to get things down to a certainty about God. Well, Jesus is all of it. But what is clear in the story is that we, as followers of one who knows where he's going, are the sheep. That's pretty clear. Pretty clear. We can shepherd one another at times, yes. This job is called pastor, ooh. But also, we are primarily sheep. In our relationship to God, we are clearly the followers. So I want to explore the parable. First of all, what is a sheep? Well, anytime you're exploring a metaphor, literature professors will tell you this, first you focus on the thing itself that points to the thing it's trying to talk about. What is a sheep like? Well, if you're a Catholic, you've probably heard people say, Protestants say, oh, you're just a bunch of blind sheep just following the Pope and the priest, whatever they say, like sheep are blind and stupid. Please don't say that about Catholics. It's simply not true. Not stupid. They have their eyes wide open. They're following for a reason. Nor are sheep stupid. They're not stupid and they're not blind. Sheep are actually quite intelligent creatures, and I got this from a veterinary science book online. I read about sheep for you. I want you to know that. They live in community. You'll notice sheep are frequently in flocks. That's not just because the shepherd wants it that way. They hang together. When they go out in those pastures and on the hillsides, they stick together. They are not followers alone. They have community for a reason. They're safer that way. They are so intelligent that they have human guides, human shepherds, owners who take care of them. And if that human goes away for 2 months and comes back, they recognize the face of that human being. They can recognize that face for up to 2 months. Nobody ever thought sheep had that kind of memory. They rarely fall. You know, you hear about dumb sheep fall. Well, occasionally a sheep will get hit by a truck on a roadside in the countries where the sheep get to roam around wherever. They may occasionally stumble and break a leg. They may occasionally fall into water. But by and large, they are very safe animals. They are prey, of course, to wolves and other things, I'm sure. But for the most part, they are kept safe. Thus, in Psalm 23, the person revels, the speaker revels in being a sheep who is cared for perfectly by the shepherd. Now let's talk about those thieves and the bandits and the evil people. Once again, the theologians and leaders of various churches and sects have had a field day with this passage, loving to say, well, the thieves and the bandits are the Pharisees, so let's be anti-Jewish. Well, it's just people who were not allowing other people to see the truth of Jesus that he was mad at. And in fact, in this passage, in the narrative history of the story, Jesus is talking to Pharisees, scribes, and his disciples. He's talking to a whole bunch of people, some who think he's the way and the truth and the life, and others who don't. But what other people have done from this, and they said, oh, well, Jesus is sort of saying who's in and out, so therefore as followers, that's what we're supposed to do. So this type of Christian is wrong, therefore thieves and bandits. Clearly, those evangelicals over there are making millions of dollars and wearing, fancy gold rings at church, so they must be not actual followers of Jesus. They're out. Divorced people, out. Known sinners, out. People of another race, out or inferior. It's a funny thing we human beings do. Jesus didn't do it. He just kept saying, I am the way and the truth and the life. I'm the gate, and there's a lot of other people out there who are leading you astray. But this is the way. Come this way. I've been reading Thomas Merton's book, Seeds of Contemplation, or also known as New Seeds of Contemplation, rereading it. The first time I think I was 23, so it's been a while. And there are such riches in this book about following God and how you follow God. But to him, contemplation means finding a way to access God, to follow God. And he talks about the enemy a lot, or these thieves and bandits, and what he says is, we think it's somebody else, and there are powers in the world that want to draw us away from following God. But in reality, it's mostly us and what we are doing in our lives, in our heads, and in our actions that take us away from following God. So, for example, the world gives us this message that we're supposed to be ambitious, successful, rich, good-looking, thin, no gray hair, right? Best pitcher on your baseball team, the best violinist in the community orchestra, the highest PSAT score at your high school. There's crazy pressure out there about being fantastic. As if any of those things matter to God. Does God care about your PSAT score? Does God care how well your flower arrangements are on Thanksgiving Day? No. Does God care whether your kid is the smartest kid in kindergarten? No. No. Does God care about the cellulite that won't go away? And yet, what do we think about? And I will admit this, I don't think God cares whether the Padres or the Giants win. I know it's a vanity. I know it's wrong. I can't help it. I just can't help it. But this is the point. These are the things that draw us away. Even, and this is coming from a man who was famous for being a monk and very holy and an amazing spiritual writer. He said, even thinking that you're good at getting to a close place with God in meditation or writing a book like Seeds of Contemplation, even saying, ooh, that's it, that draws you away from God. He said so many wonderful monks have never become saints because they were so hooked on being wonderful monks. And they're like, just keep me away from annoying people so I can go meditate in the sheep barn. God? He says that's not how you find the shepherd and the gate. You actually find it by being in love with other people, in love with God, and thus in love with other people. So he says this in many, many words, and I'm going to say it in far more succinct words. The reason that we don't find ourselves completely living in God and loving one another perfectly is that we don't actually believe the words of Psalm 23. Everybody can say it. I guarantee you've been to so many funerals, right, and church things, you can say it. It's probably the only psalm I can say from memory. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. It is a vision of having everything and needing nothing, and none of us believe it. Not completely. So what I want to do is I want to lead you through a guided meditation. And I think it's easier if you close your eyes, but if you don't feel safe with closed eyes, open them and look out at green things all around you. You are in a green place. There's a green meadow. There's a hillside with craggy rocks covered with green grass. There's a blue sky. And you are a sheep. Let's be that sheep. There is a spring of fresh water, clean and clear. It is good for you. You take a few bites of the bright green grass, and you chew and swallow. It is so good. There's a light, cool breeze, but your wool surrounds you and keeps you warm. There are other sheep all around you. You feel the comfort of their company. They bleat. You see your reflection in the still water, and you know you are safe, and you have all that you need. When the rain and the wind come, when the wolf comes, the shepherd will be there. And there is the shepherd now. Picture the shepherd however you wish to. The shepherd is on the hillside, beckoning. And you and a few other sheep amble over. The shepherd is wise, will never let you be harmed, has led you to this grass and to this water. And the shepherd speaks your language, and you speak their language. And the shepherd bends over, puts their ear next to your mouth. Now whisper to that shepherd how it is you have felt lost. Tell him, tell her what you need. And now listen as the shepherd says, I give you all that you need. And when you're ready, open your eyes. If you've fallen asleep, wake up. If you feel that you did not successfully meditate, Thomas Merton, sorry about the camera, sorry. Thomas Merton has something to say about that too, just so you're not discouraged about trying to meet God in meditation. Oops, it's page 130. Where'd it go? I hope I find the right page. Do you think your meditation has failed? On the contrary, this bafflement, this darkness and anguish of helpless desire is the true fulfillment of meditation. Skip, 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 skip. When meditation gets beyond the level of your understanding and your imagination, then it is really bringing you close to God, for it introduces you into the darkness where you can no longer think of God and are consequently forced to reach out for God by blind faith and hope and love. Amen.